Welcome back, guys. Here's part 3 and the end of my rant and rave about Avis car rental. So where were we? Well, first off, I have to say this is just my personal experience with Avis. Um, you can make up your own mind whether you ever plan on using them. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't or you should. I'm just telling you what happened to me. And again, I am a preferred customer with Avis. I am a corporate partner with Avis. And if they're going to, my way of thinking is if they're going to treat me badly, oh, good Lord, God help anybody else that's not a preferred customer. And I want to mention that during this whole ordeal, I spoke with about, if I had to guess, about 15 people. One of them, well, no, two of them were decent to me. The rest of them were rude, short, displayed an attitude like they just simply didn't care that I was going through a hard time. Just wanted to get me off the phone, basically. Now, keep in mind, I was pretty upset. I was short with them. So they could have been just returning the attitude that I was giving them. However, if I was in customer service in their position, I would try to lighten things up a little bit and cheer a person up. I wouldn't return the bad attitude I was getting. Okay, so we were at Faye. Faye had forwarded the information. I emailed that to their office with the number that she gave me attached to it, and about 2 hours later I got an email back, and it stated, we are sorry if you don't like this decision, but your coupon code was only good for an upgrade one class above where you were at. So at that point I'd already invested well over 2.5 hours dealing with this. And at that point, I was pretty tired of dealing with it. I felt like if I'd gone all the way up to somebody at the corporate office, at the corporate level, and I was getting the same answer, then this wasn't going anywhere. So I simply emailed back. I replied to their email and said, "Is that your final answer?" To which, within 30 minutes after that, I got another email, and it said, "We are sorry that you don't like the decision. If there's anything else we can do, feel free to contact us." I replied to that email by saying, "Very well." And I left it at that. Now, this is where it gets juicy, because I got into, and this is going to be the shortest video out of the 3. I'm just going to tell you what happened. I let it go. That week I got probably 2 more coupon codes. Like, somebody felt sorry for me and wanted to give me a weekend deal on a car. If I rented it 3 days during the week, I could have it over the weekend. And another email like, well, you know, you're not going to get what you wanted, but here's second prize. And I didn't even bother to really read those, because at that point I was disgusted. So I got to Pittsburgh. Anyway, I got on my plane, flew into North Carolina out of Atlanta, hurried up over to my other plane, and got into Pittsburgh within a few hours the night before Thanksgiving, which was just yesterday, so it would have been 2 days ago, the 26th of November, 2014. I got into Pittsburgh Airport, and I grabbed my bag from baggage claim, and I proceeded to the Avis counter. At which point I approached the lady at the counter, and I could tell she had an attitude instantly. And I was displaying an attitude. I dumped my bag on the ground because it was a 70-pound bag, and she looked at me like I had a problem right off the bat, and I didn't like that because she don't know how heavy that bag is. So I was already on guard that I was going to be dealing with another jerk in a long line of jerks. So we talked a little bit about the bag, and I was like, listen, can we get off the bag subject? I'm really in a hurry to get home to my family. It's Thanksgiving, and I've been gone for 6 weeks. She asked me for a credit card. I handed her the card that I booked the car with. I handed her it's a payroll card. Just one of your average run of the mill. You can get them anywhere, but I paid a little extra so that money gets dumped into it. I pay like $2 a month or something so that I can have like multiple sources fund the card. And it was the same card that I used to rent the car. And she handed me the card back, and she called for a full-size car. She said, I need a full-size car. She didn't even ask me what kind I wanted, give me a choice of which kind. And I'd already explained to her I'd take anything. I'd explained to that manager previously I'd take anything, so I wasn't going to argue with her. I just wanted my car. And the whole time that I'm telling her how bad my experience with Avis has been, I'm just talking in her ear, telling her, you know, it's been really rough. You guys sent me a coupon code, and I thought I was getting a BMW. But I kept it short with her because I was in a hurry. And she was like, well, let me get a manager. I said, don't get a manager. Don't get a manager. No, I just want my car, and I want to leave. And I had to tell her like that like 3 times. And then she looks at her computer at one point and looks back up at me and says, sir, I'm going to need another credit card, after she'd called for the full-size car. And I said, why? And she said, because the card you've got is it's only a checking. It's only for checking. We need a card that's checking and savings capable. And I said, wait a minute. The card was good enough to rent the car with. Why in the world isn't it good enough to secure the vehicle when I get here? And she said, I'm sorry, sir. That's just our policy. And I said, okay, now I need to talk to a manager. So she went to call the manager, and it was like 2 or 3 minutes. It seemed like 2 or 3 minutes, but I was in a hurry, so it might have only been 30 seconds. But at this point, I was ruder than I normally am. I snapped my fingers at her. I said, you need to hurry up. Let's get the show on the road. And I started snapping my fingers, and some guy behind me screamed at me, and he's like, hey, buddy, shut the F up. And he was a pretty good-sized guy, too, so I didn't know if I really wanted to talk to this guy, but I turned around and I said, excuse me? And he said, you heard me, shut the F up. And I looked at him and I said, sir, I wasn't speaking to you, so please don't speak to me. And he could have kicked my butt, but he didn't, thank goodness. He just quieted down. He didn't know what I was going through, and it was none of his business as far as I was concerned. I, at this point, was very hot between the lady and now him screaming profanities at me. So I took my bags and I walked outside. Now I'm standing outside the airport, and I'm calming down. I smoke a cigarette, and I'm standing there, and I'm trying to think of how to proceed with this. So what I decided to do was call the manager, and I spoke to the manager on the phone, and I said, sir, I had to go outside and cool down. I apologize. I didn't, if I, a little bit short in there, I apologize, but I had to go outside and cool down because I'm really upset right now. I said that apparently what I'm being told is the card that I rented your car with is not good enough to actually pick the car up. It's good enough for you to take the money off it, but it's not good enough for you to actually, let me have the car. Is it? And I asked him, is this the case? And he said, well, yeah. I mean, he said, well, what's going on with the coupon code? I said, well, I explained that to him, and I said, but I need to know, what your policy is regarding this car situation. Am I going to, all right. He said, well, our policy is that you need to have, the card that you give us has to be able to be a checking or savings. It's got to be a credit card, not just a debit card. I said, okay, well, if that's your policy, then cancel my order. Goodbye. And I hung up on him. Now, that was it. I had to have, and I told him I was going to have somebody drive an hour and a half to come pick me up, and I didn't appreciate that at all. So I had my fiance come and get me, and a couple of friends that had missed me dearly wanted to come see me, so they came with her all the way up to Pittsburgh at that point from Fairmont, West Virginia. That's where I'm at of, guys, by the way. Hello from Fairmont. We're right down from Morgantown. Go WVU. Yeah, you guys are doing good this year. I got back, obviously, nice, safe, and sound. And the first thing I did when I got up today, after Thanksgiving was over, was last night, after we got done with our Thanksgiving dinner, I called back up to the airport, and I talked to somebody that I could barely understand who spoke very bad English, and And he asked me a few times what had happened, and I told him, listen, it's like this, plain and simple. I came to pick up my car. My card that I paid for the car with was not good enough to pick it up, according to the person behind the desk. So at this point, I would like my money back. Now, when I finally said I would like my money back, the guy, all I heard was click. I didn't hear anything besides click. And then I got dumped into a 1-800 pool for customer service. So somebody answers from customer service. And I explain what happened. Again, they speak a little better English, but not much. Again, bad English. And it was a lady this time. And I explained it to her. And I said, now I would like my money back. Click! No, I'm transferring you. No, nothing. Clicked off, and I got rung to another number. Now a lady who spoke perfect English answered. Thank goodness. And I explained to her, ma'am, if I have just been clicked off twice, I've been transferred twice, without any warning I was even being transferred by the customer service reps that transferred me. And let me just let you know right now, if you transfer me anywhere without letting me know, I'm just going to hang up and call a lawyer. And she said, well, what's going on? And I told her the story. And I didn't tell her the whole story about the coupon code or anything. I just told her the story about getting into Pittsburgh and being declined a car because my card was not was not a credit card. It was a debit card. And so they canceled. I said, since they canceled on me and I didn't cancel on them, I don't feel I'm liable for your fees for late cancellation because I wanted the car. They wouldn't give me the car. I'd already paid for the car, so I want my money back. And she said, no problem, I've got it taken care of, sir. And she was real short with me, like the whole time I was rattling on, she was doing it, and it was done. So I thought it was done, and she said, you'll get your money within 3 to 5 days. Now I hang up. And this is the end of this right here. I get an email not 2 minutes later saying, we are going to refund your money. It will be on your card within 3 to 5 days, less $100 for a late cancellation. So the lady did absolutely nothing for me, except for, I said, basically, the end result of that was I owe them $30 because I only paid $70 for the rental, 70 and some change, something like that. So now I'm really hot. I call back. I get some other lady. I explained to her what happened and that I don't want to see that email again. And I guess she corrected it because I didn't see that email again. And that is my experience, folks. 12 minutes and 32. We have gone about 45 minutes between 3 videos, and that is how technically challenging a customer service coupon, a coupon code can be if you don't read the fine print, even if they're throwing BMWs at you. I'm not stupid. I realize that I could have read every little last thing, but my thing is this, and I want every company out there to listen to me right now. Good customer service means you put it up there without fine print. What you say is what you mean. What you show is what you do. Okay? And it is not show me a BMW and then put a bunch of fine print saying I'm not getting the BMW. And then tell me my card is okay to rent the BMW and then tell me it's not okay to actually pick the BMW up. Avis, you are the worst customer service that I have ever experienced in 42 years of my life, and I'll be 43 in February. My adult life for sure, and that's 25 years if you do the math. Worst. I've been through McDonald's like everybody else and have gotten really bad service through McDonald's, mostly 3/4 of the time, unfortunately. But you have really topped out. You get the award, Gold Star for poor customer service, Avis Rent-A-Car. Hope your sister company budget's not like you. But if they are, folks, my recommendation at this point is, bottom line, do not go to either one of these companies. Now, I'm coming back with a video called Gravy Train, and I think you guys are going to like it because I actually have the voice for this one. Thanks for listening.